Hey guys, this is Mike B. Zan. This is a step-by-step tutorial on how to draw the Ice King from Adventure Time. Now these are some practice drawings I did. I'm actually learning how to draw him myself, so this is sort of a teaching as I learn video. Now the Ice King is a little bit more tricky than Jake the Dog or LSP because he does have a lot more shapes. So the first thing to do is just start out with the simplest shape of all, a circle. This is where his head will be. Now it doesn't have to be perfect, just a general idea of where his head's gonna go. And then above the circle, where his crown will sit, is a long triangle. Now when we start out drawing the foundation of any drawing, you don't want to press too hard. Just draw nice and light, and later on we'll go over the more important details with a harder stroke. So put a horizontal line in the middle and a vertical line. He's just going to be looking at us straight on. Now where this horizontal line touches the edge of the circle, we're gonna loop down and make an arc, which is where his beard will go. So it loops down a little ways and it curves back up to meet the other point. So there's his beard. Now at that same horizontal point where it meets the circle, we'll come out a little bit and do another fatter arc that goes down a little bit further, and this is where his body will go. So that is the basic shape of the Ice King. Now let's add in some details. So up here, just go up about a third of the ways from that middle line and curve this line around the circle and meet back up. This is his crown. And then his crown has 3 points, so are just upside down V's. The middle point goes up really high, and the other two are the same length. And we'll go ahead and put where his jewels will go. So the middle jewel's the fattest, it's the biggest. You just start out drawing a little hexagon, then a bigger hexagon outside of the little hexagon. Then you just connect the points of the hexagon. It's a little lopsided. Again, this is just the rough drawing is where we make our proportional corrections before we lay anything down with solid lines. Go over this with another sheet of paper with a pen later. So right now we're just mapping out the main shapes. So his other jewel on either side of his crown is a diamond shape, and it's smaller. Okay, so now let's get to work on his face. So his eyes are just simple circles, and right underneath his eyes put a V shape. This is part of his beard. Then his nose connects to this end of the V shape and goes down. It's basically like a long skinny cattail. It just curves near the end to a point. Then you curve it back up. Okay, and then back to this beard. Do another V shape, then loop it up and tuck it underneath the crown on both sides. Okay, now let's go over here. His hair loops around and goes into his crown. Same thing on this side. Actually make his body come out a little bit. He's a little bit too fat on the left side. So again, we're just making our corrections before we go over it in pen. It's a lot harder to correct a pen than it is to correct a pencil. Alright, so let's get to work on his beard. So his beard, following this guideline, just make it a little more curvy to suggest the waviness of his beard. Let's do his arms, which, following the basic guideline of his body, you just curve it around. It basically curves up back to this horizontal line that we drew, which is an important guiding line for the Ice King. His arms are connected to it, his beard, his body, his eyes rest right above it. So we just keep going back to that as a guideline for the basic construction. Go on the other side, loop his other arm, and the sleeve of his arm curves down underneath the back of his butt. Now, his fingers, his 3 little fingers that loop down. There we go. Looping it up. Looping it up. Alright. I'm gonna lump this up if I don't start concentrating better. Here we go. Okay, so his mouth is basically follows the shape of this circle. So we'll just put his mouth there. He's gonna be smiling. He's normally happy. Well, he has really strange emotional responses to things. Like, he's kind of a sociopath. He's not evil, really, but he doesn't really understand empathy. He tries really hard to make friends and be loved, but he doesn't understand that other characters have desires that might not match up to his desires. So he's sort of a tortured soul. Alright, so obviously he's really happy there, looks really friendly, but since he is a kind of a mischievous character, let's give him angry eyebrows. The eyebrows are really important for establishing the emotion of a character. Just by changing the direction of the eyebrows, you can change the entire emotional meaning of the image. So now he has a totally different expression. It makes his smile a little bit more scary. Okay. So now, just go over, darken up the lines, which will make it easier to trace over on a separate sheet of paper with pen.
These are levels you cannot win, like in an 80s video game. And people talking around me makes you feel so lonely. I said I love you, but that just won't fix it. You know I love you, you know I want too much. And the birds in the bird nest burn down. Glad you left, yeah, I'm glad you left right now. Still love you.